We are rolling today at UCLA in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful day here. The sun is shining. Who could ask for more? And Pharaoh is about to introduce someone to us using the 7-part outline. So he stands before us managing attention, making sure everyone's looking up. He's saying to himself, I respect my audience, looking around and really meaning it. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I am Farhat.
Hi Pharaoh.
First of all, I'm not good speaker, sorry for that. Hi again. We all know that decisions make people determine their lives. Today, I will tell you about same story for this. I will tell you about my study buddy, Sarah. At the same time, she's my girlfriend. I will tell you about her past, decision of what to study, and present, work, life and master's program, and last one, future. She wants to become a restaurant manager. I know you will enjoy with my study buddy, Sarah. She has good dreams, and she has different kind of skills, like she has an ability to improve people skills.
Good.
Since she was 17, she wanted to become psychologist because she has a friendly personality, and she likes to interest people problems. One day, her friend became Sarah and explained his problem. The problem is about his family, and Sarah started to think about this problem, and in 2 days she dealt with his family and solved the problem. Sarah's friends solved this situation, and they say like you have to become a good psychologist. And then she didn't become psychologist. Why? Because her father has a cotton company, and he wants to work with her daughter, and she become economist.
A what?
Economist.
A communist?
Economist.
A columnist? Oh, okay. Economist.
Economist.
Oh.
Economist. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. And my second story is about her work, life and master's program. She graduated from Sabancı University. Sabancı University is one of famous and most successful university in Turkey. I know that. I tried to join this university, but my exam points didn't allow to join this university. Also, I think she's genius because she graduated 1 term earlier. And when she was 21, 22, she started to work in Henkel. Maybe you know Henkel is most successful company in the world.
Hancock?
No, Henkel. Henkel.
Oh, Henkel.
Henkel.
Henkel, that's my wife's name.
I'm sorry again for my pronunciation.
Henkel.
She started to work in Henkel, but she just worked 1 year because she only wants to be for an experience. And then at the same time she started to master's program in Galatasaray University. Galatasaray University is also a very successful university in Turkey. And then after 1 year, when she was 23, she started to work with her father's company, and just in 1 year she became export manager. And my last story is about her future. She loves eating very much. Every day she eats different kind of unhealthy foods. I don't know why she doesn't gain weight. Sometimes I think about I have to call some channels, Discovery Channel or National Geographic Channel like that, and take my girlfriend and research on his body.
Maybe she has a hollow leg.
She for this reasons she wanted to become manage a restaurant and eat much. Ladies and gentlemen,
in summary,
I give you.
I told you about her past,
present, and future, and I give you Sarah. Thank you for listening. Sorry again for my pronunciation and bad speech.
Thank you. Very good. Yeah. What you like? Stand up. Say your name.
I like your speech a lot.
Start with your name.
Oh, Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Very funny.
Mm-hmm.
You do have good English.
Yeah, you are understandable, so
Yeah.
you shouldn't apologize. It lowers expectations. It's an appeal to pity, and you shouldn't do it. Okay, just do it.
No, you do have good English.
You have good. You're understandable.
Yeah.
You're fun.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I like the humor in it. And,
Yeah. That was good.
That's good.
Good sense of humor. Keep that.
Yeah.
Improvement. Oh, improvement here.
I'm Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. Daniel, my brother.
An improvement would be, I mean, this is not your fault because you're still like getting better English, but I guess it's hard to follow sometimes, just because I guess it's like some of the sentences weren't exactly properly structured, but I like that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you're doing fine. You were understandable, and that will come with practice. So, let me give you some feedback on what I'm after with this speech class. First off, don't apologize when you start a speech. It lowers expectations. Just come up confidently and believe in yourself and start your speech. Now, I'd like you to put the speech in the 7-part outline and have those Roman numerals down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and have those kinds of paragraphs. You have them all bunched together, see? And it's easier to remember, okay? I want you to move 3 times. Sarah's past, her present, her future, back to the middle, okay? And this will relax you and make you a more interesting speaker. You started with your introduction, which should have been a poem, a quote, a story, or a joke. You said, "We all know that decisions people make determine their lives. The stories that I will tell you will be examples of this." Was that a poem, a quote, a story, or a joke? Not really. So come up with a quote or a poem or a story or a joke, or even a rhetorical question. Something you can tie back to in the end, see? Bookends. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, your thesis preview was good. You're going to tell us about her past, present, and future. It was detailed. That was good. You said you're going to enjoy meeting Sarah, and that was good. And then you said the first story, and that should have been a new paragraph, Roman numeral 4. Well, that's the main body. And you told us a story of her wanting to be a psychologist and her best friend having terrible problems. It would have been interesting to know a little bit more detail what the problem was, but still she solved it, and they said, you should be a psychologist. And then her father said, no, you're not going to be a psychologist, you're going to work in my business. And that was a good story. I think Sarah should have said, it's my life, not yours, Dad. But, that's a different story, right? Right? Right, yeah. I guess you don't say that in Turkey. I don't know. So, then your second story, which I want you to emphasize more with your voice. So that was the past. Now let me go to the present. What's she doing now? And then her present work, you told us about that she went to a great university, and first she was a communist, and then she was a columnist, and then she was an economist. And that was funny, and that was good. And I'm glad I finally got it. That was cute. I like the communist the best. Sarah the communist, yeah. Okay. And Heinkel, yeah, that's my wife's name. Good company. And then... so you told us that, it was more factual than story. For the present, I would have liked a story, a little bit more of a story. You know what I mean? For the second thing, rather than just facts. And then the third thing was, the last story you told us was she wanted to get a restaurant and eat her hollow leg and fill her hollow leg up with food. And that was funny, and you did it in a very funny way, and you said you wanted to take her to the Guinness Book of Records because she eats so much and all that. And so that was cute, and that was funny, and that was okay. And then remember to say, in summary, so say that, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet my study buddy, Sarah. And then a tie back at the end. I didn't see any, you always want to have 3 goals. What were your speaking goals? What did you want to accomplish? Pharaoh?
I want to speak...
Oh, help me if this goes off. If you move out of range, then tell me or just move it, okay? Because I'm concentrating on writing. Thanks. Yeah, what were your goals?
I want to speak more efficient and fluent also. And I'll try to make good pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
Just.
You were clear. We understood you. And the, quote, grammar will come. You're understandable. And people will cut you slack. They understand that people that come from another country don't say things in perfectly formed sentences when they first come here, but as long as you're sincere and you're trying to communicate, people will cut you slack. Okay, you'll be fine. Okay? Okay. Thank you, Pharaoh. Okay, let's meet your study buddy. She stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, saying to herself, I respect my audience and really mean it. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center, say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah.
Hi Sarah.
Every people have their own unique stories in their lives, and today I will tell you about one of them. And I want you to introduce you my study buddy, Ferhat Erdebil, which you all can call him Ferro. And I will tell you about his past basketball life, future present school and work life, and future desire to become a fair manager. So first of all, I will start with my first story, which is about his past basketball life. Since he was 13 years old, since his childhood, he was into many branches of sports like tennis, basketball, swimming, beach volley, and stuff. But he found himself more into basketball, so he decided to go on with this, enhance his skills in basketball. So since he was 12 years old, he started to go to trainings, and he was in one of the best teams in Turkey. So one day, his coach, while training, his coach saw him jumping like nearly 48 inches, and he was like shocked and felt, come here, you should be the dumper of the team. And he was amazed with the skills of his jumping skills in basketball. So he was really motivated after the speech of his coach, and so he decided to enhance his skills in basketball. But unfortunately, he couldn't become a basketball player because he has, like most of the basketball players, potential basketball players, he has injured his leg, and so his dream has unfortunately finished at that point. So, but I really know that when he sees someone playing basketball, he's like still has the excitement and desire to play basketball again. But unfortunately, he couldn't become a player. And the second story I will tell you about Ferhat is his present tough business and school life. So he's studying international trade and business in Turkey, and his father is a shoe manufacturer and exporter. Like they're exporting shoes more than to 20 countries. And so while he is studying, one day, it's about 1 year ago, his father came to Ferro and said him and made him a speech. Son, come here, we need to talk. So I'm really having hard times to deal with all the problems in our business. So you should be helping with me and learn how to deal with the everyday business problems in our business. So this speech was like effective on Ferro, and after that day he decided to learn the job in every way, and like since 1 year he is both going to school and trying to finish his school. He's a senior at university, and at the same time he is trying to help his dad and learn the business life. So this is the second story about Ferro, and the last and third story I will tell you about Ferro is about his future willingness, future desire of becoming a fair manager. He is like he loves to study and work so much, and he has a diligence about this issue. So and one of the things that he most cares in life is to be a right person and treat equally and fairly to everyone, his friends, his family, and to a guy even he doesn't know. So it's really important to become a fair manager, more than becoming just a manager. So he really tries to does his best about this, and so really works hard for this. And in summary, I have told you about Ferro's past, present, and future life. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ferro. I hope you enjoyed listening stories about his life, and thank you for listening.
Okay, where do we leave off? Let me get this darn thing squared away. Did you speak already? No, go ahead. Let me try to make some sense of this.
Hi, my name is Savannah.
Here we go.
I really liked your stories. They're very entertaining, and I liked how in the beginning you introduced like the new title of the story, like the past, the present, and the future. And I liked how you tied it back.
Yeah, well, okay. And who else is to speak next? You are to, in the rear there. Elliot, phone home.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I think you did pretty well. I didn't notice any major mistakes.
You were perfect, just like Jesus. Okay. Well, guys. First off, let me start with the positive. Sarah, you're a very likable speaker. Keep that. Don't lose that. The smile, the whole persona is likable. That's good. You have that nice persona to you. That's good. Your introduction was to be a poem, a quote, a story, a joke, or a rhetorical question. What was yours? What?
None of them.
None of them, yes. So when she said, I loved your tie back, I'm asking myself, what did you tie back to? Nothing.
I liked stories.
Huh?
I liked some.
Yeah. I loved her stories too, but I didn't like her tie back because she didn't tie back to anything. You had an observation is what you had. You said kind of a profound thing, which is true, that every man and woman walking the earth has a story. I don't know how long you've been with this guy, but if you've ever been dating or you go to a bar, the first thing that happens is people want to tell you their story. So what's your story, right? People tell you their story. Everyone has a story. And that's what you said here. Everyone in the world has a unique story. Right? That was your observation. So if that was going to be your introduction, and remember, an introduction is supposed to grab your audience, draw them in, make them want to listen. Now, that didn't really grab me or draw me in or make me want to listen the way, and look to your book for things that are, more interesting, unexpected, incredible, like a good quote or something that would really do it, see? But you still could have tied back and said, so, as I said in the beginning, everyone in the world has their own unique story, and as you see, Pharaoh, the basketball player, the shoemaker, and the fair manager has his stories too. See? Like that. So you could have done something still with your little piddly little introduction. You still could have tied back to it. Okay? Yeah. Stay in the power stance. That's a bad habit you have. Feet wider than your shoulders. Yeah. Okay. So, then you did your thesis, which you said past, present, and future. And you said he wants to be a fair manager. And I thought you meant he wanted to organize the circus. Because in America we call a fair, like let's go to the fair today, right? The fairgrounds at Orange County. So I thought he wanted to run a circus. And so I couldn't figure out why he wanted to run the circus. But now you meant he wanted to be fair-minded. He wanted to be a good manager and a fair-minded and a kind and equitable manager, right? Not like the fairgrounds, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, good. You skipped over your significant statement. What is a significant statement, Sarah?
What was that?
I know you'll enjoy meeting my study buddy. Why do you say that? What's the purpose?
Yes, because I think he's a great combination of a sportsman and businessman.
Yes, that's what you wrote, but you didn't say it.
Yes, I just heard it.
But why do you say it, Sarah?
To make my audience
Want to listen.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I want to meet a bitchin' guy. Yeah, I want to meet an interesting person. Yeah, see? So it's the selling of the speech. Yeah, okay, good. So, story number 1, Mr. Basketball. And that was good. It was well detailed. You told us how he jumped 4 feet through the air. The coach liked him and he was happy and he was playing. But alas, he got an injury and he couldn't play. But he still loved basketball. Well told, good first story. And we like that. So that was what I wanted more was for you to say. So let me first tell you about his past. I want to talk about basketball. Now that I told you about his past in basketball, let me go to the present. And the present was his father's shoe store, you know. And he sells shoes all over the world. And his dad said, "Pharaoh, I have crummy people working for me. And they're all bums and crooks, and I need you to come into the business." So he said, okay, and he came into the business. And that was a pretty good story. And so that was your second story. And then your third. So then you say, so that's sort of the present. And then the third story was where I got confused when you said he wanted to be a fair manager. And then I finally got that you meant he wanted to be not just a manager, but one that people liked and respected, right? Yeah, okay. I don't know how that happens. What do you do to be a fair manager?
Well, in my opinion, if you
Power stance.
Okay, if you give more importance to how you treat to people and
Respect.
relations between them, yes.
RESPECT, yeah.
Yes, when you give more importance to the relations more than money, then you automatically become more respected and like.
You're considered fair.
Yes.
Yes.
In my
Okay.
opinion, of course.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, good. Then you summarize. You said you told us about Pharaoh's past, present, and future. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Pharaoh, and then you stopped because you didn't have any tie back. So you didn't have 3 goals here. You always put down 3 goals. What were your goals? Mm-hmm. Goals.
I will improve my introduction part.
Yes, and your tie back.
Yes, and my tie back related to that.
Good.
And secondly, I think in comparison with my first speech that I have done last week, I find myself much better because I was more fluent and I was not just like standing like here, but my body language was better. So the things that I could improve in my speech was the story parts.
The story parts.
Yes, I mean the story, introduction and tie back.
Yes.
So,
one thing I want to say about good storytelling, and I assume you're reading the book about good stories, but good stories have a certain amount of details. They're interesting. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. They have some drama to them, you know. And they also have a little moral at the end of them sometimes. You know, they sort of sum up. So the moral is you can still love basketball, but not play it. You know, you can work in your family's business. Or some moral at the end of the story. You know, it's good. But you told your stories fairly well. Just maybe a little bit more detail. One thing I want to say is you kept looking over at Pharaoh as if he was going to hit you, as if you were going to say something wrong. Forget Pharaoh when you're talking out to the audience. Just look out here to your audience. Don't keep glancing over at him. You'll see that you keep looking over at him when you watch this on YouTube tonight. Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Good job. Okay, that's done. Good. Do you have your respect speech?
Yes.
Okay.
I will have.
Okay, you want to do it now, or you want to let someone else speak?
Yeah, let's
Okay, let someone else speak. Give it a little break.
Okay.
Okay, good. You want to
I have
go?
a question though, because you said the review, film review,
Yeah.
had to be like less than 3 years old, but mine's not. My movie was old.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, I meant for your persuasive speech,
Oh.
your research, your evidence. I don't want to hear statistics from 1949 about how bad drunk driving is. No, but especially if it's an older movie, that's fine. If it's Gone with the Wind, obviously your review's going to be a little older, or Titanic or whatever. Okay, you ready to rock and roll?
I guess.
Okay, rock and roll.
Thanks, guys. Here you go. I don't have a review because my other film wasn't on YouTube.
No, yeah.
I can make one.
No,
up
that's
if you
fine.
want, but
No, that's fine.
it says the same thing.
Just a second. I'll get ahead of myself here. So you got it done. It was easy. Easy as pie. Right?
When did you guys start learning English?
2 days ago.
How long have you been speaking English?
Well, it's like years, but it's the first time that we always do presentations and assignments in school, but it's the first time that we are like more this
Like all speaking English?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, let me get you in focus. Yes. You're doing very well there. Christina stands before us about to communicate 3 strong emotions that she had seeing a film. She's managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally to her audience, saying to herself, I respect my audience, and really meaning it. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hello, I'm Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Hello. P. Sherman, 42, Wallaby Way, Sydney. Anybody remember that quote?
Yes.
I did my film on Finding Nemo. And I went on a grand adventure in my life. And that's one of my stories today. The movie Finding Nemo really caught my attention because it makes people feel a lot of emotion. So today I'm going to tell you 3 emotions that I felt from Finding Nemo. The first emotion that I felt was fear and anxiety in one part. The second was that I was amused. And the third one was that I was joyful. So throughout the movie I went through all these emotions. So my first emotion was that I was anxious and fearful. So when Nemo was captured by the boat that came up, because he was adventurous and he swam up to the boat, and the goggles dropped, and Nemo's dad found them, and they had the address on, P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. And that was the plot for pretty much the whole movie, trying to find Nemo. So in that way, it reminded me of, obviously you guys have heard this story before, but when I went to Baylor, I was anxious and fearful. Those were the 2 main things that I felt when I went away to school. No family, new place, new state, everything. So I was very, very anxious and fearful when I first moved to Waco, Texas. The second story was that I was very amused. So in the middle of the movie, Nemo's dad and Dory swam through the uncharted ocean trying to find Nemo. And they had the address in their head, right? P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. So Dory kept repeating that, but she was the fish that had amnesia. So the only thing that she really remembered was that address. She couldn't remember Nemo's name, she couldn't remember where she was, anything like that. So it was very amusing watching Dory trying to remember Nemo's name, calling him all these other weird names. So I was very amused in that part of the movie. But finally, at the end of the movie, I was joyful because I ended up finding Nemo at P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way City, and he tried to escape from a tank. And when he finally escaped into the ocean and found his dad, it was a very joyful experience. So, I forgot to tell you my Muse story. So when I was amused in the middle of the movie, I used to go to Hawaii on vacation with my parents. And so we were scuba diving one day, and I saw this big old turtle. So I was probably 13, 14. And so I saw this turtle, and I was in my all scuba gear, and so I went for it, and I started following this turtle, following, not even thinking that I was just swimming to Tahiti or wherever I was going. The guy had to catch up to me and say, "Hello, where are you going?" Following this turtle in wherever I was going. So I said my third emotion was joyful. So take you back to coming home from Baylor, which I was very joyful of doing because I was happy to be back in California, Orange County, where I grew up, not Waco, because Waco was not fun. So I was very joyful. My family was very joyful also that I was home with them. So my three emotions from watching Finding Nemo were that I was anxious and fearful first, and then I was amused, and then I was joyful at the end. So in summary, I told you three emotions that I had while watching Finding Nemo. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Where are we? Who hasn't spoken? Everyone's spoken? You haven't spoken. Okay, good. Sarah.
Yes.
Sarah.
I love the way she expressed her feelings, and she just kept the excitement at high levels for me and I think for the audience, so I like that.
Okay, she kept the speech going. Even when she goofed up, she circled back and didn't let it throw her, didn't say, "Let me start over." She just flipped it back and, said a big deal and got it in. Yeah, okay, that was good, yeah. Improvement. Pharaoh.
Hi, I'm Pharaoh.
Hi, Pharaoh.
I think she emphasized they emphasized emotions very well, and she used body language also well. I want to become like Christina.
And how can she improve, get better? You're supposed to say something like, she could be louder, something, she could do better.
I want to say
she was perfect.
Same thing. She was perfect.
Just like Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, Christina. Well, let me give you some feedback, Christina.
Okay.
Gosh, you had this in a 7-part outline, as I asked for, so thank you for that. When you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, and please work, camera. This it was the white one that went bad, so this one should be okay. Compare. You have a copy of the script. Compare what you said with what you wrote and what happened here. You had quite a good introduction about movies and memories and stories and good storytelling. I didn't hear much of that. You kind of just went right to, I'm going to talk about Nemo. You got nervous, and so you skipped your introduction. But besides that, let me ask, how would you categorize your introduction? Was it a poem, a quote, a story, a joke, an observation, a rhetorical question?
I think it was a statement that got everybody's attention because
a statement.
Pretty much everybody that's seen Finding Nemo knows that quote.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a quote to grab people's attention, I think.
Okay, so you thought the quote would grab everyone's attention. And then you had, some observations about storytelling and stuff. And they were good observations, Christina, but they weren't in the speech.
Yeah.
And so my suggestion to you in particular, and I know this sounds like a cliche, but it's an important cliche. You don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. And so you want to practice extra hard that intro. Because you want to nail that intro every time, because that's when people are paying the most attention and they're going, okay, I'm going to really see what she has to say here. And if you're skipping over and kind of seeming lost in something, people are going to go, uh-oh, what's going on here? See? So that was troublesome. Next, you told me that you were going to tell me that you felt anxious, fearful, and amused and joyful, right? Okay. Which was fine. And then I didn't get much of this quote from your film quote, and whether you agreed or disagreed with it, your significance statement. So you need to have memorized the 7-part outline and to say, okay, I know you're going to really enjoy this movie, and just the way that the IMBD online said that most critics said that all characters were outstanding, and I agree.
From 990.
Yeah. So it was unanimous, So so that was good. So let's get to anxious and fearful. What I would say here, and when you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you'll see what I mean. You spent more time on plot summary than you did on your story and your emotion. And the purpose of this speech was to practice emoting and feeling and remembering the situation. And so you told us a pretty long story about the plot, and then you said, oh yeah, and by the way, remember I told you guys I went to this crummy university named Baylor, and boy was it bad. I was anxious, and and I didn't hear any of this about, I hadn't been away from home, and I was anxious. You didn't give us all the details that you had in here. You didn't relive how bad it was and give us the details of it and re-feel it and re-sense it. That's how felt sensing works. So we feel it again. We go, oh yeah, I'd never go to Waco. It's in Waco, right? Oh, yeah. That's where they had that shootout and everything,
massacre,
right?
Yeah.
The massacre.
I was there.
What was the name of that guy? Jack or something? Or what was his name?
I don't know. But there's a Dr. Pepper factory there.
There's a pepper factory there.
Next to Waco.
Yeah, Texas is it's a place unto itself. I got a really nasty ticket in Texas that I'll never forget. Anyway, ticket,
Oh, a ticket.
Traffic ticket from a nasty guy in a hat that was a speed trap, and he insisted I pay him $300 in cash. All this stuff. I'm sure he was pocketing it.
What was that?
It was between El Paso and somewhere between El Paso and heading toward New Mexico. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to reality. So, on your second story of being amused, again, you told us the plot, and then you skipped the story, went on to the third thing of being joyful, then came back and told us how you were amused. And again, it was a funny story, but return to the emotion that you're communicating, Christina, and just saying, so this guy said, hey, little girl, what are you doing? Where are you going? Tahiti? So even though it was kind of funny, it was amusing, and relive the emotion of doing that, and let us get a belly laugh from it, too, that you were following a turtle. It's kind of funny and cute story. It was good. So finally, and by the way, you're a very likable speaker, and I think that's what Pharaoh's talking about and relating to, that he wants to be like you, that you You have a natural likability to you that people want to listen to you, and that's a good quality. You just need to nail down the specifics of what you're saying so you have more competence that comes through in the details of your presentation. See? On joyful. Well, you gave us the long summary of joyful, and then you told us of coming home from that awful Waco to wonderful Orange County, California. Hallelujah. But again, when you watch yourself on YouTube, you're going to see we didn't get a lot of details. Mom and Dad's name, what they do, did they have a dinner for you? Were you so happy? Were your brothers and sisters there? Was your horse happy to see you? Did they take you out to the Olive Garden? I mean, what happened?
Well, everybody's happy besides my dad. He wished I stayed there, but there you go.
Just tell us something,
Okay.
so that, and just relive it,
Okay.
and just say, I was so damn relieved to be out of that hot, horrid desert and to be back in beautiful California, see? And relive the joyfulness you felt and the peace you felt being back with your family. Relive it, sense it, and then we'll feel it.
Okay.
You'll see when you watch yourself tonight, you'll see what I mean. You just gave it a quick skip.
Okay.
So my parents were happy I was home, and I was happy I was home. Blah, blah. That's all we got.
Okay.
That's not enough. Okay? So you summarized, you concluded, and then not much of a tie back to that opening quote. So looking for a better tie back. So what am I summarizing here? What would I tell you? What I'm looking at mostly is I'd like to see you really be a slave to my prompt, to the 7 parts. I want to see in the PC, I want to see you nail the 7 parts and really with your voice say, so the first reason I'm PC'd to this is, and the second reason I'm PC'd to this is, and the 3 actions I've taken to achieve my personal commitment are, and I feel this way after I took these actions this way. And then, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we really have a good vocal narrative of where you are as we're going through the storyline, okay? But other than that, you did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, that was Christina Hearn. A done deal. Okay, next. Daniel, my brother. Okay. Daniel, my brother. Okay. Step into the squares. Yeah. You gonna trip on your shoelaces? 1 step to the left, please. Boy, you're tall, aren't you? Yeah. Let's see if I can get you to the screen. I can't. Let me see. Not too far back because you look like you're afraid. Okay, I got you now. Wait, no, I don't. Okay, wait a minute. Hate to do this because it was perfect. Okay. Yeah, could you sit here and if I get distracted writing, clue me in when he moves if I miss it. And do we have a timer? Could you time Elliot? Thank you. Phone home. Okay. Okay, Daniel's about to share 3 strong emotions that he felt when he saw the film something.
Never back down.
What?
Never back down.
Never back down. He's standing before us, managing attention. He's in the power stance. He's looking around to make sure no one's texting or on their computer or eating lunch. He's saying to himself, I respect my audience, and really meaning it. Finding friendly eyes in front of the sun, show your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Sugar Ray Robinson, a professional boxer, once said, to be a champ, you have to believe in yourself when nobody else does. Now, in my definition, a champ does not necessarily mean one who knocks someone on the floor or knocks somebody out. It just means fighting for what you believe in and overcoming obstacles despite the odds. And I think this theme perfectly embodies a movie that I would like to share with you guys today, one that really moved me, Never Back Down. This movie made me feel uncomfortable or isolated. It made me feel vindictive, and it made me feel celebratory. I know you guys will be interested in hearing about this movie because it has some very, very unique and significant themes that can teach us a lot in life. And according to Wesley Morris of the Boston Globe, this movie is just like a bunch of other reality TV shows and movies. But in my opinion, as I said earlier, it has a theme that is unique, powerful, and one that you definitely want to listen closely to.
Good.
The first emotion I want to show you guys is how it made me feel uncomfortable. Now, in the movie, the incident that made me feel uncomfortable was when Jake, the main character, moves from Iowa to Florida and goes to his first day of high school in a school with clearly very unwelcoming kids and nobody to talk to, and he doesn't know anybody. So he felt very, very isolated and really didn't know what to do. Now, personally, the reason this connected with me is because when I had my first day of middle school, I felt very, very similar. I didn't know anybody except one kid that came from my old school who I did not get along with, and he ended up joining the cool crowd, and I was sort of left friendless for the first week or two. So it definitely resonated with me, how Jake was feeling, and something that definitely impacted me. The second emotion I would like to convey with you guys is how it made me feel vindictive. Now, in the movie, Jake goes to his first party and meets Ryan, who's basically the antagonist throughout the movie. And Ryan is a MMA fighter, and he challenges this lonely kid to a fight who's never fought in his life. And basically, he says he doesn't want to fight. He says, "Why are you even here?" So then he has no choice but to fight him, and ends up getting knocked out pretty quickly. And from that point on, Jake vows to himself that he'd become a better fighter and be able to defend himself in future incidents. And the reason this connected to me is because the same kid that I never really liked, a year later, threw a party and invited every single kid in our grade except for me, clearly to spite me. And I remember feeling extremely vindictive and angered that he would try to create this enemy. And I vowed to throw my own party and make it even cooler and more fun and not invite him. So it was definitely something that related to my own past. The third emotion I would like to tell you guys about is how it made me feel celebratory. So in the movie, Jake works very hard throughout training every day and working hard so he could finally fight Ryan when it comes to the time and beat him. Now at the beatdown, which is basically a tournament an underground tournament for MMA fighters, he ends up fighting him in the championships, and despite all odds, going against a man who's been fighting for many, many years, he ends up winning. And no one believed in him except for himself. And once he beat him, all the bullying and all the hate that Ryan felt towards him sort of vanished, and a new form of respect came. Now, me personally, the reason I connected with this and felt very impacted from this part of the film was because when I did wrestling, and I ended up wrestling in our final tournament, and I was only 130 pounds. The kid who I've never had a good relationship with was 150 pounds, and though he went to my school, we had such a stacked team we ended up wrestling in the same weight class, and I had to go up 20 pounds. So I was wrestling in the 150 weight class, and no one expected me to beat him because he was 20 pounds heavier. He was very strong, and again, despite the odds, I ended up beating him in the championships, and it was something that resonated with me throughout up until present day. And from that point on, he treated me with a new respect, and all his manipulation tactics sort of vanished, and he couldn't really get to me the way he had before. And very similar to the way Jake had dealt with Ryan. So in summary, I've told you 3 ways that this film has impacted me. There should be no doubt in this room that this movie has had a huge impact on me because it taught me a very, very important lesson. So whether you are an MMA fighter, a wrestler, or a boxer, as in Sugar Ray Robinson's case, in order to be successful or a champion in life, you really have to believe in yourself to the very end and overcome obstacles, no matter what the odds are and what it might take. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. 6 minutes and 32 seconds. Thank you.
Good.
Oh, where are we? Who hasn't spoken recently? I think you.
Oh.
Hi, Deanna.
I like how you structured your speech and you said everything really clearly so that they could follow.
Improvement?
Hello, everybody. I'm Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Hello. Oh, let's see. I don't know. It was really good. I think maybe the only thing that I would say is try to switch up your tone of voice. You know what I mean? Like instead of being monotone the whole time, like when you tell a story, kind of get into it and tell you what I didn't do, but you know what I mean? Like kind of show your emotions.
Okay, not a bad suggestion. Daniel, let's talk about your speech. Some stuff about it I liked a lot. Christina, thanks for helping me keep him in focus. Appreciate it. One thing I really liked about what Daniel did was he had a very short plot summary. We didn't need to know a whole lot about this stupid movie. Just he spent most of his time telling his stories. And that's what I wanted. That was the best. That was good. So, you went a little over time. You started with Sugar Ray Robinson, and you talked about what it means to be a champ, and she's eating her lunch. So, you tied back to that in the end. Now, pardon my ignorance, but what's an MMA fighter?
MMA? You ever seen MMA?
No.
Oh, wow.
I live in my ivory tower. What's MMA?
It's
See?
basically like wrestling and
What?
It's like martial arts.
It's
I don't know.
martial
It's like-
arts.
They can do whatever they want, pretty much.
Wrestling and
Like,
all
What does
those
it
things.
stand for?
Do you know it? What it was? See, she didn't
it's,
know.
MMA is mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Mixed martial arts. Okay. So, when you use abbreviations, make sure your audience knows what they are, and so define them one time, and so everyone knows what it is. So don't use phrases like that unless everyone knows what they are. So you had a good grabber, and you talked about Sugar Ray saying what it meant to be a champ, and you redefined it, and I like that. And then you tied back to that in the end with good bookends, so you clearly understood that part of the assignment and did it well. Your thesis was okay. You changed your wording a little, of the emotions a little of what you put here. That's just okay, you know. It's good to be consistent, and so your audience kind of knows what emotion you're communicating, but it's a minor point. Your significance point was good. You quoted the Boston Globe well and said that you disagreed with the guy and thought he was way off base. Perfect. Good. So, let's go to your first emotion, uncomfortable. And here it was, you went to your new junior high and you didn't know Jack. One person, no one. And except one guy that you hated. And he joined the cool crowd and left you out. And the only thing I would have liked was just a little bit more of the details of you saying, and I felt really bad. I felt really uncomfortable. And returned to the word uncomfortable, and I felt really isolated. And feel the emotion again more of what you felt back in junior high. Re-feel it. That's that felt sensing, see?
Yeah.
Re-feel it again so we feel it. Yeah. Okay, good. Second emotion was vengeful or vindictive. And you told us the story of one guy was asked to fight and got the tar kicked out of him, right? And then you talked about this boy, and did you give him a name ever?
Yeah.
No.
The
Jake?
kid, I don't know. I didn't give the kid that I knew a name.
Okay, but
Maybe
and maybe you don't want to give him a name, but make up a fictitious name so
Okay.
it has a name. So let's call him Frank. Okay, so Frank had a party. He invited everyone in the school but me, and boy, did I feel rotten. I felt so left out. I felt bad. And I swore I would get even. I swore I would get back at him one way or another. I just felt so vindictive at that moment. Relive how angry and vindictive you felt. Felt sensing again there. And repeat the word, the emotion, at the end of the paragraph so we know what emotion you're telling us you're feeling. Understand? Third emotion, celebratory. Okay. Yeah. And here your story was, and you had good stories. You had to fight Frank, and he weighed 150 pounds, and you only weighed 130, and you beat him. And boy, did you feel good. Now, remember how good you felt, and tell us how exuberant you felt. Remember that feeling. You had a good posture, you were walking tall, you were smiling, you had new respect, you had respect from him. And then say it again, and I felt celebratory. See? Your summary, you said you didn't say the three emotions. And that helps your audience remember what three emotions you were communicating. Your tie back was fine. Okay, let's go to your canais. You said you want to work on the flow, adhering to the structure, and pausing at the right time. How did it go?
I'd say the flow is a little bit better,
Yes.
and the structure is probably better.
Yeah, much better.
It was better.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And the pausing, I think, was okay.
Yeah. I would say the first comment that was made about being a little more emphatic, a little bit more emotional, and if you can do this in your own life when your girlfriend says, I want to go to California Pizza Kitchen, I want you to get in the habit of not saying, oh, I don't really like pizza. I want you to say, I don't like pizza. Start working on being emphatic as you speak in your life so that you're not just monotone all the time, and then you'll be more emphatic when you speak too. Did a good job, really a good job. Much improvement. Just work on those things and watch the overtime. When you're given a time thing, try to adhere to it. Good job, though. Thank you. Okay. Next. Let's see. Do you have something to do today?
I did my
You did your film speech. Let's see. Did you do your film? Yes, you did. Okay, well, we'll hear from you guys now. Yeah. Get a little catch up. Yeah, again, we're rolling along. It's gonna be fine. Mhm. Okay. Feet in the power stance. Let me get you in focus, Sarah. Help me with la-di-da.
I'm so sorry. I need to just check one thing.
Okay, no problem. I'll prompt you if you get stuck. In the boxes, yeah, good. Sarah stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, saying to herself, I respect my audience, fighting friendly eyes in the front of the sun, say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah again.
Hi, Sarah.
Now, today I will tell you 3 stories that I have experienced through my showing nonverbal showing respect with nonverbal communication. And I will, as I said, I will tell you about my experiences. But first of all, I will give you a clear definition of my thoughts of nonverbal communication. As you all know, there are like tens of languages in the world, and the communication and also showing respect changes from culture to culture, from nation to nation, and people to people. So based here, of course, the cases that we that we encounter in our daily lives may change in relation. So now I will tell you about the 3 experiences. I have 3 stories, as I said. One of them is a good story, second one is a bad story, and the last story that I will tell you is an ugly story.
Good preview.
The first story that I will tell you about is a good story. One day, it was like 10 days ago. One day, when my class is finished and I was going to my apartment, and I just encountered with one of my neighbors, and she was carrying her bags, her shopping bags, and in the front door of the apartment, I saw her bags and just smiled at her, and without saying a word, I just pulled the door for her to help him go inside with her bags. So first of all, she just smiled me back and said nothing. And after we moved on the elevator side, I again pulled the door of the elevator and again helped her to carry her bags in a much easier way. So in my second move, in my second showing respect without saying a word, she just again smiled at me and said thank you to me, and just asked how things are going that day. So I was happy, and I found this story as a good story about my showing respect with nonverbal communication. And so I will move on with my second story. I believe it's a bad story compared with my first story. Again, it was in the campus when my lecture is finished. I was walking down to my car and just saw a girl that she dropped her notes off the ground, and I just moved a couple of steps towards her. And before her, I moved on the ground and just took the notes from the ground and gave it to her. And I expected, she just kind of smiled to me, but she didn't say thank you to me. So I thought that I can consider this a bad story, because at least I believe that at least she could have said me thank you at the end of my help to her. So my last and ugly story that I will tell you today is it's again like 1 week ago. I was in the shopping mall and trying to find a park space for my car. And after a couple of turns in the shopping mall, I finally saw an empty space. And I thought I can finally park my car there. And at my behind, like there were like 2 or 3 cars waiting for, also waiting for to find the parking lot. And I just, with my hand, I just tried to sign to the man behind me that he can go forward with his car so that I can move and park my car in a more comfortable way. But I think he had understood me wrong, and he thought that I just signed him that he could park his car in the space that I thought I could park my car. So there was like kind of misunderstanding, I guess, but I was like kind of angry and just decided to wait for him to get out of the car, and I just wanted to make an eye contact with him to see to see if he will be like angry with himself or just say thank you to me, maybe. So I just wanted to see this, test this. But he just moved out of the car and said nothing to me, and just he stared at me and just walked into the shopping mall. So I was just like shocked, kind of. So I can consider this an ugly story. So guys, I have told you about 3 stories with my showing respect with non-verbal communication. And in summary, I can tell you that, of course, in our daily lives we encounter so many different situations, so many different people from different cultures, from different languages, and I believe that showing respect is an important thing, and non-verbal communication is, the things that we try to make. We try to tell people with our mimics and gestures is important, but it may sometimes, in some cases, lead to some misunderstandings. But nevertheless, I believe that we should show respect to all people around us and try to express ourselves with a more respect way.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, what'd you like? Say your name.
I'm Farhat. Hi.
Hi, Farah.
What I like. I don't know. I really don't know.
Don't know anything you like?
Perfect like Jesus.
Perfect like Jesus. Like Jesus, she's perfect. Okay, good. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to Elliot. Phone home. What?
Am I unlike or dislike?
We don't do dislike. We do how can she improve or grow? How can she grow?
Hi, I'm Elliot.
Hi, Elliot.
Some areas I felt like you could have improved were slightly on the stories. You could have showed more emotion, or also repeated the mantra of the idea of I respect you, or so that we could sort of get that tie back throughout the story about what the idea of the experiment was. Because I heard a lot of actions of respect, but it wasn't clear unless you already were aware of why you're doing this.
Yeah. Okay. In Sarah's defense, you came late, and you didn't hear the first lecture, and you did you see the Steve Jobs lecture at Stanford?
I watched it in, YouTube.
You saw that on YouTube, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So you saw a little of the storytelling, but you didn't hear our discussion about the mantra and the saying it all the time to everybody, I respect you, to yourself as you walk around. And I think that's what Elliot was referring to. And so even when the bad and the girl doesn't say thank you, that you still say I respect you to yourself, even though you think she's rude. And that's kind of sad. Let me talk about your speech and give you some feedback, because I don't think it was perfect like Jesus. I think there's some things you could still do better. I think that you still want to try to come up with kind of a grabber in the beginning, even though you just started off with, today I'm going to tell you about the results of my experiment, or something. You just kind of launched into it. One thing that I thought was interesting that you alluded to, but you didn't develop the idea much, was you defined nonverbal communication, and that was interesting, and I think you did that for your benefit as well as ours, I guess. But you alluded to the cultural differences. Now, let's just take Turkey and America. Can you tell us some nonverbal differences in nonverbal communication between Turkey and the U.S. that you've noticed? Non-verbal.
Yes, in America, most people are like when walking in the road and they don't recognize each other, but they smile each other. But in Turkey, people are just more, okay, I don't want to say rude, but they're less smiling, I can say.
Okay, yeah. They just get on their way.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
New York City.
New York City, yeah. Have you been to New York?
No.
Yeah. New York is a tough town. Get out of my way. You know, yeah. Okay. Paris is another place. So I'd look for a little more grabber intro always to start working on poems, quotes, stories that you can start in the beginning to get people interested in you. You start with a definition, which was okay. So your first story was the good, and it was good nonverbal. Were you saying the mantra to yourself as you were helping the woman? No, right? No. You need to say the mantra all the time.
Okay.
I respect you as you walk around, as people see you, as you're talking to an employee, as you're talking to your parents, as you're talking to Pharaoh. I want you to get in the habit of thinking, I respect you, I respect you. So it's a habit. You repeat it so often, it's just a habit of mind that you do it all the time. See? You were kind of forcing yourself to kind of be nice, right? But you weren't saying the mantra, I respect you. And that's what Elliot was referring to when he was saying, we didn't get how you were saying the mantra, I respect you. And the mantra and the nonverbal can be coupled with the verbal, as I talked about in the class, the first meeting, for waitresses, when you break the pattern and you say, how are you today? And by the way, don't steeple like that. This thing suggests a feeling of superiority, so don't ever do that in front of a boss or anybody. Just keep your hands like this, or this. This is bad. So your first story was good, but repeat the mantra, okay? Second story, your bad experience. Yes, the girl should have said thank you. More likely what I thought would happen and will happen to you that will be bad, you'll think is bad, is most people won't look at you when you're saying your mantra, I respect you. They put on their iPods, they get on their phones. No one looks at others people in the eyes anymore, or smiles, or looks so much anymore. They're into the digital. They think that's communication, not this, right? That's what a lot of people thought was the bad, that they were ignored when they said their mantra. On the ugly, yes, you need to practice saying the mantra when you drive, because in Los Angeles, people are rude in their cars. You signal, they speed up. You know, they don't let you in, you know, things like that, right?
You should see Turkey then. Turkey is in traffic, they're like going crazy all the time.
Yeah.
And all the horns and...
Yeah, beeping the horn, taxi drivers do that in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is when you really need to be respectful in your car. So I like the fact that you gave somebody a parking place, but he misunderstood you, and you sort of waited to give... Yeah, you got to put your blinker... If you put your blinker on, that says you're waiting for the space.
Yeah.
Oh.
You
Yeah.
didn't have your blinker on?
Nonverbal.
That's why he thought that you
That's why I thought you didn't want the space.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
gotta do your blinker.
But so you waited to give him the evil eye, but he didn't care. But that's when you should have been repeating your mantra, I respect you, not the evil eye. Yeah. What you learned, you said, I think the body language is universal and different in cultures and varies from culture to culture. Even though I have shown nonverbal respect, they misunderstood. Yeah, and what I think was, you didn't really learn the assignment fully as I gave it, but that was because you weren't here. But I hope in explaining it to you now, you get a better idea of what I want you to do. And I want you to still practice it. You notice we do it in class with our audience. We say to our audience, I respect you, so they sense it. Because we want to bond with our audience. We don't want to talk down to them. We want to talk from heart to heart, connect, like that. Okay. You did a nice job.
Okay, thank you.
Just like Jesus. Thank you. Okay, that was that one.
We were like commute like an hour and a half. So when I drove home that day, I would look at people. They would just like stare at me, and then sometimes they'd smile. And sometimes
So you don't have
go
respect,
away and I
huh? But now you understand it. You can do it next time. Anybody else have a speech today? Any more speeches today? What? You ready to do your PC?
Really?
You're all ready to do your what?
I go again.
What do you mean go again?
I want to practice again.
You want to do your film speech again? No, I'd rather you practice. You could do it again, but after you practiced it.
Okay.
We're almost out of battery too. What's the time? Okay. Let me just say in the remaining seconds of my battery life, let me talk a little bit about the PC. For some of you that were absent, I showed the PC from the model. So if you didn't get to see it, watch it. It's under Thomas Miller, Model Speeches. And there are at least 10 PC speeches under Tom Miller, personal commitment speeches. Look at them, follow the format, get ideas. The big emphasis that I'm looking for is that you disclose something that you wouldn't normally disclose in regular conversation. That you share something personal about yourself, the way the young lady disclosed that her boyfriend wouldn't let her date and all this stuff. The way I told you some other people disclose private things about themselves, personal things, that sort of thing. Yeah. Any questions about the personal commitment? Does everyone have a good idea about what they're going to do?
So it's a little bit longer, right? It's 5 minutes, not 3 to 5?
It's 5 minutes, yeah. Does everyone have a pretty good idea of what they're going to do? Why don't you not do it, but just share with us what you're going to do?
The personal commitment I had made was to work for my success rather than just saying I want to be successful.
To work on your success rather than talk about it. Do something about it. Okay. And so I take it you're going to share personal stories of some shortcomings you've had and things like that will be honest. Because what I'm after, when you're authentic the way that the girl was in the model, you feel authentic when you're really being yourself. And we're after, in this speech, being authentic. And if you haven't watched, and I hope if we get time we'll watch those TED Talks, those 3 TED Talks, all 3 of those speakers were extremely authentic in their presentations. So that's what I'm looking for, okay? All right, our work is done for the day. Return with honor. Thank you, everyone. Yes.